Prime Creator of all that is, we give thanks for this moment. This very moment is unlike any other. It is here, now, never then was or will be. This moment, catch it, hold it, savor it, for it folds into the next and the next, never to be duplicated exactly. Were we to stop for a full minute, this moment, we would find out how really long it is and how much the moment can hold. To be present in the moment affords one to use it to one's best advantage. A moment can feel too brief at times, other times it can seem a brief eternity. What is remarkable about a single moment is that we can stretch it with our mind, can slow or elongate it, or it can fill it with so much that it virtually disappears. Regardless of how we choose to use each moment, what is most important is to cherish each one, for each moment is precious, unique, and ephemeral. So let us breathe in a deep breath in this moment, as deep as you can, and hold it, hold it, hold it. Then let it leave slowly through your open mouth, taking with it any negativity, any dross your light is carrying. End breathing with gratitude always to the one who gave us breath. As we move into the next moment, feel a smile summoning from deep inside yourself. And here we are, in this next now moment. Let it be filled with joy, gratitude, and a lingering smile.
Hello, it's me again. My name's Ron Vroman. I want to show you this. Make sure it gets front and center clear. In addition to that, and being former Navy, I'm a sick old man. And that's the deal. I got here and I earned it every step of the way. And I am delighted to be here. I am having the finest time of my life. It's incredible. My health is not cool. That doesn't make any difference at all. I wake up every morning and I know exactly what I have to do. And that's get through the day and push it forward just a little bit more. I'm talking about cognitive dissonance today. That ability that we all have and we use it, and it manifests itself all over the place. People that smoke cigarettes and know smoking cigarettes is bad for their health, and additionally know all sorts of other things, and they smoke. I know I smoked for 40 years. What difference does that make? We're talking about a disease, cognitive dissonance. You hear it all the time. It might have some flaws and it might not be as good as we'd like it, but it's the best country in the world. I used that one for years. Another one was, who am I to tell a woman how to use her body? I don't go for abortion, but I can't tell them what to do. Buildings don't fall down like that. That's wrong. And wow, building 7. Now boy, how do you deal with that? I had a hard time with the Warren Commission. I couldn't stay in the Navy. I loved the Navy. There was parts of it that was just absolutely fabulous. I got to do stuff. But 3 years, 11 months, and 28 days, and I was out of there, and thankful for my time there and glad to be out. You have the disease, and curing it is really hard. I claimed cure when I was 75, but I claimed it when I was probably 78 or something. But I knew it way before, and I couldn't claim it. Couldn't live with it. We are all that way because of how we were inculcated with what we are. And we are what we were when we were 9 years old, plus or minus a little bit, but that's the notch, and it fits. Maybe it's you were 10 or 8 or 7 or, I don't know, 12. But 9 fits really well. And if it plots on a bell curve, that's who you are. So those that were 9 when various things happened, and around 9 when they happened, and that can last a whole generation. Kids from first grade to 9th grade are all inculcated with the same batch of information that made them who they are, because at 9 years old, they got indoctrinated with that. That's who it was. That's what made them. Then you have the outliers. Those of us that don't become people for whatever reason when we're 2 to 4, right in there, whatever was supposed to happen didn't happen. If it didn't happen, it's never going to happen. You can modify it, you can live with it, you can do whatever the hell else, but that's who you got painted. You didn't make it through the 2s to the 4s. Tough break. Your 9 is going to be much harder. And that's the way it is. They stopped teaching what we needed to know. And they stop teaching what you need to know, and you raise a whole bunch of idiots. But the idiots know a tremendous amount of stuff about what there is for them to know. An attorney standing out in Hillsboro in front of the courthouse, there was 3 of us and 2 of them. We were arguing. We were arguing about Article 7 amended. And this female attorney said to me, "What difference does it make?" It makes none to her. She knows. And she is on the side of the bar doing it to us. That's her gig. And all attorneys that are trained to be attorneys have to operate in the de facto, because that's all there is. They don't have to go to court. They don't have to argue with other people, but they're doing the law that is de facto. They have acquiesced to it. Not all of them do it willingly. There's a bunch that don't. It's cognitive dissonance. I cured myself. The cure's hard. For me, it was, I will not acquiesce to any infringement upon my inalienable right. Period. Not going to do it. Now, only you can make that decision for yourself. And I say all attorneys have made the decision that they're going to be in the de facto. It's there. They know it is illegal or illegitimate, and they don't care. It's what's there. And the same goes with the sheriffs. They don't care. They got to do law and order and cooperate with the judges and cooperate with the ORS and the state police and the feds, and they got to do what they got to do. And during COVID, we had 36 sheriffs, and 10 or 12 of them would say no every once in a while. 10 or 12. 30% of all of our sheriffs would actually stand up for our unalienable rights because they got pinched too hard and they would not stand for it anymore. Well, I'm way over here. I'm not standing for any of it. I will not abide. You do not get to do that to me. You do. I can't stop you. You're bigger and stronger than I am, but I don't acquiesce. That's hard. When the guy across from you threatens you with a stick and you tell him, fuck off. Well, there you are. You could very easily get hit with a stick. Old men that get hit with sticks and fall down or get put in jail for 5 days, it racks up on them harder than a young guy. And if I don't get remedy, it's harder on me than a young guy. Because when I was 25 or 50 or 65, I had a whole other perspective. When I got indoctrinated to the lie, oh my God, let's say at 75, I pulled all-nighters on the internet learning from guys that you can do, you really did. Oh my God. You find this stuff, then you go looking for the guy and you find out he's dead or he's in jail. And then you get another layer peeled off the onion. Cognitive dissonance. I was way into the private attorney generals across America, years into it, after Bundy and all that stuff. And I was still coming to terms with the Navy. I thought that I had joined the real Navy, and I was altruistic about it to some degree. And then I found out that my DD 214, where it said honorable, that wasn't a discharge. Where it said I was transferred to a inactive reserve squadron, that was true. And I thought it was a technicality for the additional 2 years of my 6 years of service. And I paid no further attention to it. And all these many years later, a woman says to me, "Are you sure you were discharged?" Of course I am. I got a DD 214. She says, "Have you read it?" Well, of course I go ahead. So I read it. Honorable. I served honorably. So then I contacted the Navy. "I'd like to see my discharge." "Well, you got discharged." "Yeah, well, I don't see it. I don't have it. Please send it." "Well, well, send me a letter, because I think I'm in a reserve squadron in San Diego and have been for 50 years, and you guys just didn't tell me. And I'd like to have a discharge." Took 3 years to get it. Piece of paper. Cognitive dissonance. You cannot treat with these people. You just can't continue putting up with the lie. You have to draw the line somewhere. Eventually, you have to stand up for something. Why not just do it now? And just do it to your oath. All of you that are in the military, all of you that are in the sworn cop ranks, all of you that take an oath, by now, if you're seeing me, you already know what a proper oath is to, and you know what the requirements of it are. You cannot hide behind some cheap shit piece of paper that says you took an oath and you've passed all the requirements and you're the sheriff and they counted the votes and it's recorded and some judge honored it. He probably had a box around the name that he stamped it with. That doesn't count. You do not get to take an unalienable right and change it with a rule or a regulation or a statute and deny me of my unalienable right with your privilege or benefit. No, you do not. We have two constitutions, and I'm not interested in anything else but those two constitutions. The proper ones. There's lots of them. Every state's got several. The feds got several. Ohio has several. They've been made a state 3 times. All of that stuff. You have to realize cognitive dissonance. We've been lied to about everything for somebody else's purposes. When I was in the Navy, an old Navy chief said, "Look, we're in San Diego. We're out here by General Dynamics. You know everything that you see and that's going on." And I was a second class at the time. And he was giving the shipping over speech. He says, "The military runs the world. And you're in it. You're in the group that will protect us the most and do the best job for us." Well, wait a minute. Constitution and blah, blah. And he says, "Forget it. It's martial law. Whatever you see is not what is, because the ones that are buying all the weapons and the ones that are paying for all the military is the military. They're the ones that are telling people what to do. They make it look like others are, and I couldn't believe it, cognitive dissonance. And then all those many years later, I find out about ex parte Milligan. And you cannot have martial law on the land and soil where there is a civilian court, a civilian common law court, a civilian common law and equity court of record on the land. We have that on Oregon, the only one that I know of. And the reason we have it is we told the U.S. Department of Justice in 2017, this is what we're going to do. And we've done that and carried it forward to here. We told the U.S. Marshal Services, we told the FBI, we have proof, we have our letters, our documents, our writs, signed, sealed, stamped, delivered, proof of service, and published for 8 years. We are who we say we are. There is none that can rebut it. Somebody rebutted a statement recently. They said, why in 2020 they did this or that. Like that would make a difference to us. We know we have been defrauded since March of 1861 and that we are in martial law on 32 states and 17 territories and islands and the District of Columbia, except it be Oregon, because Oregon did all the work. We read the paperwork. We implemented the steps one by one as we found them, and we resolved the problems. We actually did all the work from the bottom up, and it took a long time. We had no idea how to get there from where we were. I'll say it was sitting around the table at Four Seasons Beaverton. There was probably between 12 and 20 of us that day, coming and going, whoever was there. I think that's when it clicked. And we'd already done the physical work months before. Cognitive dissonance. You took an oath to be the sheriff. So then you have to know what a sheriff is. So you do. And then you're supposed to do several things. And you do them. And you provide the proof. And if you're Washington County, you don't charge somebody $25 for a photocopy of whether or not the sheriff actually did the work and got the answer back from DPSST. You have to change your point of view, your reference. You have to become cured of cognitive dissonance. You have to understand there is de facto, it's there. Don't acquiesce to it. That's all it takes. You take a proper oath. And we gave you a copy of what one looks like. You can read what the Marine Corps does. You can read oaths everywhere. The only one that I know that's codified that you absolutely have to do is the one the president takes. Other than that, it's pretty much left up to those doing it and honoring it. It's the contract. So then, Who makes the judgment? Well, the courts make the judgment. And what's your court? A court is not one judge in a black robe sitting on a bench making decisions. His decisions are valued in common law if they're less than $20. He makes decisions in Admiralty, Maritime, and other places. He makes decisions under Article 1, what Congress says, what the county says, what the governor says. But Article 3, that's where people come in. That's where law and equity is. That's where cognitive dissonance stops. That's where when you step into the court, you cross the bar and you go into their jurisdiction, you better know what you're doing. The guy sitting on the black bench in de facto, black robes on the bench, is in de facto. And the sheriff's minion, for lack of a better word, I don't know if he's a sworn deputy or who he is, bailiff, will grab your ass and stick you in jail if the guy in the black robe says do it. They don't have to try you. They don't have to have a warrant. They don't have to do anything. And the guy said how pleased he was to have me in his custody. Cognitive dissonance has to go away. The thin blue line has to realize that this cop that has this hang up, this foible, this whatever that causes this cop to do things that should not be, but it's the only thing he does wrong. All the rest of the time he's right on, and he'll back you up and he'll go through the door and he'll stand with you. No, he cannot. If he wants to take a bribe or if he wants to exercise some kind of prejudice that he has, or if he wants to use his badge for something else and his authority for something else, no. All the time, no. But really, if I was a sheriff and I had a couple of sociopaths or psychopaths that actually took my orders and thought I was doing the right thing and they gave their loyalty to me, I think I'd protect them. If you say, Fred, go get him, they'll do it. The king says do something and they will. Whoever they have made the king. Cognitive dissonance. We have to get through this ourselves. Nobody can do it for you, and we cannot do it alone. And at 9 years old, they teach everybody the same thing. And whatever they taught us at 9, there's probably multiples down the line. I used to raise dogs. Dogs go through a click at 8 weeks. You want that click to happen and have a good dog. It can screw up the litter. They have been screwing us up on purpose for a really long time. For multiple things. And there has to be apply Occam's razor to it. That's what you need to do. The most logical thing to happen is that's what happened. You know, you read all the data in the literature, and whether you like it or not, that's what it is. We're being operated by, on Oregon, the Oregon State Bar and its minions. And they are pushing the deal. Now, there are a bunch of attorneys that would prefer it to be another way. I've met attorneys that agree to that. But they're in it. Damn few of them will turn their back on it. And those that get out, most of them fight to get back in again. If you're an officer in the military, you are always an officer in the military until they give you a discharge, which they very rarely do. They just retire you or put you into the reserve, call you back out of the reserve and put you on active duty. Your skill set is needed. We need 36 sheriffs on Oregon to do the proper job. The proper job is proper contract with the Constitution that is correct, with the definitions provided by Bouvier's 6th edition, so we know who has the responsibility. You read in the dictionary the definition of the word, then you know what the definition of the word is for the constitutions. It's not what Black's Law says. It's not what Thorndike Barnard says. It's not Webster. It's Bouvier's 6th. That's what defines law. And law is, on Oregon, the Oregon Constitution and the United States of America's Constitution. Now, we don't all have one handy, so we use facsimiles, the best you can get. And you can find the additions that have been made, and you can cross them off, because the original is the original. We can accept that. But as we know, they put in Article 7 amended without a proper vote, and it is accepted. And that's what they hold color of law under. We know that has happened. Therefore, why would you believe anything else to be true? Don't. You take an oath to what made Oregon a state out of the territory in the Pacific Northwest. How did that happen? It happened with a couple of documents. So we can read them and use those. That's law. Now, you don't get to pass a rule, a statute, or an ordinance that is against the law. You don't get to do that. However, if you stack up enough people that want to do what is against the law in the legislature, then they will do what's against the law. And they'll write a rule saying it's okay that they do it. And they will do it to you. And if cognitive dissonance, you acquiesce to it, then you agreed to it. Don't acquiesce. Please do the right thing. It's hard to wake up. Mike invited us in for coffee. Thank you, Mike. And we talked. And the guy's been in the cops for a long time. And he says it's really hard when you find out everything you thought you knew was a lie. You're right. That's true. And the lies stacked upon the lies are still lies, and you're not getting to the truth. and the truth is visible to all of us from our perspective. But our truth is not necessarily what's true. That's why we have 12 to make that decision. That's why you have a court. That's 3 tribunals and a clerk to make those judgment calls. That's how it was designed. It was redesigned by the attorneys. And we got to have Article 7 amended. And they get to put in a whole bunch of judges. And they get to rule us the way they want to rule us, and we agree to it. They left original in. We have to implement it. They're not stopping us. Nobody gets in our way. They do exclude us. They do shepherd us right out of the Marco Hatfield Federal Building. Yes. But they do not rebut us. And not one sheriff has come against us. And only one has agreed to meet us and look us in the eye. And he said he was going to take it under advisement, and he's had plenty of time. And as soon as these other things clear up, we'll revisit Yamhill. And we'll see if the Yamhill County Commissioners will accept a proper oath and bondability from Sam Elliott. And we have a sheriff on Yamhill County with the proper oath to the laws of nature and nature's God and our constitutions, circa 1859, as defined by Bouvier 6, 1856. We'll try from there. Return to original jurisdiction, get away from this de facto color of law. Justice, the judiciary, and government is not a business for profit. You have made us your cash cow. We are not. You must prove your claim. You've made claims, now prove it. I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying, and then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up.
And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.